Well, hi and welcome everybody. This is my first opportunity to wish you a happy new year, 2019. So we're here really to explore 2019 for those of you who are speakers and looking at developing your speaking career and also the craft of speaking. Welcome and hello to you and happy new year. What I thought we would do is really explore, at the beginning of every year, we all get incredibly enthusiastic. I get enthusiastic, plan all of these goals, I have all of these ideas of things I'd like to choose and to do and to achieve through the year. And it's also a very sobering time because in the process, I go through a sifting. I'm choosing this one, I'm choosing that one, and I'm really intrigued by the goals that I choose. And I know I can leave some really good goals on the table that I don't pick up and engage with. So I thought it'd be a really great way to start the year was for us to really look at some of the work that I did with one of my mentors, an incredible mentor of mine, a woman called Dr. Stephanie Burns. And Stephanie did her PhD on people who achieve goals. What are the principles that really sit behind people who achieve goals? So I want to give a short little kind of summation of those 4 points. And then I'd like us to do a tune-in. And for those of you who are new to the process of tuning in, it's a mindful moment where we really start to get clear about what is it that's calling us this year. And then using the framework of the 4 stages of the goal that I'll talk about, we'll have a discussion around how we can move. So we always start off with a mindful moment, and that's just a moment where we just pause. So I just invite each of you to just take a moment to give yourself time to just pause and let's just go quiet for a moment or two. So just invite you to firstly bring an awareness to your physical body. Just sitting where you are. Taking a moment to take a nice deep breath all the way down beneath your navel. And just imagine that your mind is gently riding the wave of your breath. And you're very gently breathing in and very gently breathing out. Noticing that there is a space of stillness and allowing yourself to be drawn towards and into this stillness. And just imagine you are breathing into stillness and breathing out stillness. Being connected to this stillness was really fundamentally important to this conversation we're about to have. And as speakers, as paradoxical as it might sound, the stillness and silence underpins the power of being a great speaker. For it is out of the stillness that our true and powerful voice and our true and powerful message emerges. So just for the next few moments, allow yourself to be immersed in this stillness and silence. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So I just invite you very gently to now allow your breath to deepen. Breathing once again down beneath your navel. You might like to move your body, gentle little movements. You might like to take a little stretch to really arrive in this gorgeous, magnificent body of yours. Roll your shoulders. Really breathing in. You know, breath and stillness really underline the power of speaking. They're really kind of mysterious and exotic. The way that the two of them come together really is where the power of speaking lies. And our clearest and deepest ideas come from stillness and silence. That if when we're speaking, we're coming from a busy and agitated mind, you can be pretty sure that that's what the audience will pick up on, and that's where they will go as well. That your beingness, your state of being is the most fundamental thing, and that's what an audience picks up on. See, 90% of what happens in the speaker-audience relationship is unconscious. We put so much time and attention on our words and what we're going to do and how we're going to look. But in fact, it's what you don't say. It's what I call your silent message that is the most powerful. So knowing what your silent message is and being comfortable with that gives you an immense power. And by power, really, I mean, it's the ability to communicate effectively with an audience, to be able to open up the space for an audience and for you to take them on a journey. They don't listen to your words. They really feel who you are. And most of that's unconscious. Cool. So 2019 is lying out there in front of us. And as I said, you know, it's a time when we set goals. And I thought it'd be a really great time just to touch on some of the work that I did with Dr. Stephanie Burns. And she talked about the 4 stages of a goal, the 4 critical stages of a goal. So this will be the backdrop for our conversation that we'll have straight after me sharing this with you. So Stephanie studied people who achieved their goals. And what she realized is that there are these 4. The stage 1 is choosing the goal. Ange is going to take notes. Excellent, Ange. Thank you for that. So stage 1 is choosing the goal. Stage 2 is initiating the goal. Stage 3 is maintaining action towards your goal. And stage 4 is completing the goal. So, now why did she call these the 4 critical stages? It's because at each one of these stages is mostly where people give up. So just want to let that sink in a little bit, because although we can start the year all excited about our goals, what Stephanie's research showed was that 75% of adults do not achieve their goals. To me, that's an incredibly sobering, and it's a really hard-hitting thought to entertain, that there's a 75% chance that all of us on this call will not achieve our goals. And what I hope to do, and also what I do when I work with clients and people in the Shine community and the programs that we offer in Shine are really about moving people into that 25% of people who do achieve, and those of you who are already achieving, just to help you refine what it is that you already do. So the first thing is the area of choice. So what makes you choose the goals that you choose? It's a very important thing to reflect on. And especially what's dangerous about this particular period is the goals that we think are too big, that, oh, I couldn't possibly do it. Yet our heart really is calling us towards certain things, but our mind, which is really governed by our past and our history, will say, no, you can't do that, or that doesn't seem right, or whatever. So it's really important to choose according to your heart's deepest desire. What is it that's stirring deep down inside of you that's seeking expression? So Sam, if it's something about being called to be a speaker, it's really good to really examine that, to really feel into, is that something that's real for you? Is it something that really stirs you, that moves you, that engages you? Or does it just seem like a good idea? The other thing that, another one of my mentors, William Whitecloud, who really, I guess is the basis for a lot of my work, has been drawn from William's work around intuition. And for me, intuition is that quiet, still place that we went to at the beginning of the call. And being able to go there and to listen deeply to what it is that's calling us. And what William says is most of the goals that we choose come from our ego. They come from our personality. They come from our identity. And the ego's role, according to William, is to paper over our cracks. Is, you know, a lot of people say, oh, well, I want a bright red Ferrari, or I want, you know, the sweetest backpacker wife, or I want a yacht, or I want the big house. So people choose these goals and work towards achieving them because they want to stay away from something that's kind of nagging them, or a sense of their ego's vulnerability. There's something where you feel you have to default. You have to make up for something. So a lot of people are choosing their goals so that they look good. So that's another thing to be really wary of when you're choosing your goals. Does it feel deeply like what is calling you? So that's the area of choice. The second one is initiation. Now, for all of us on the call, we all have businesses. Or Virginia, I'm not sure that I know you, so I'm not sure if that's the case with you. But for those of you watching, anyone who knows starting a business, those first might be 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, where we're initiating something. It's like, it's hard work and it's demanding. A friend of mine uses the analogy of a rocket taking off and leaving the Earth's atmosphere, and that it burns up 80% of its fuel and energy, leaving the Earth's atmosphere. And I think that's a lot when we're initiating a project or a goal. That initiation phase is incredibly demanding. Mentally, physically, socially, spiritually, demands are placed on our family, on our own time, and we have to make a lot of sacrifices. A lot of people stop in the initiation phase because they think, oh my God, this is, do I have to do this for the rest of my life? Well, the answer is, if you make really good choices and you learn and there's a process that you follow, no, it isn't always like that. It does actually get easier and smoother. But just knowing that the initiation phase is demanding can be incredibly helpful. And one of the things that I find really, really useful and advise people to do is to get a coach who has traveled the path and can help step you through this process, or a mentor, someone who's already done what you want to do, and set up regular times for conversations and input. Because there's nothing worse than a mind going rampant with fear and self-doubt, because we don't know what, most of us, when we embark on something new, we don't know the terrain. And all we have is quite often is a doubting mind. Or the other thing you can do is, have a group of peers or a mastermind team that really supports you, keeps you coming back to your essential impulse, keeps you reminded of what you are truly capable of and what your real vision and dream is, and can help you get there. So the third phase is the maintenance phase. This is the one that really challenges me. I think I make great choices. I'm a great initiator, but the thing with the maintenance is this is the long haul, and this is where monotony sets in, where it's like you're doing the same 2 or 3 things day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, and things are building, but it's like you're just set and repeat, set and repeat, set and repeat. And with these 4 stages, depending on your personality, there are some people who love stage 3, right? But the challenge here, as I said, is boredom and monotony, and you have to find a way of making your way through it. I do it by setting up little projects within the major project, so I can keep that initiation kind of buzz or phase with me whilst I sort of maintain the things that just need to be done. Phase 4 is the completion. How many people do you know, or you might even have children who have done this, who get to the final year in their university course, the final term of their university course, and decide, I don't really want to do this anymore, or no, I've decided this isn't really for me. Or you see people, they've started their project, and then they go, it just doesn't feel right anymore, and they stop doing it. And I know for myself, when I was studying acting, I didn't go and pick up my diploma. So there I was. I'd been to the best acting school in Australia, and I'd been there for 4 years and studied and did really well. But I just couldn't be bothered to go and get the piece of paper, and I'd never thought about that for like a good 20 years afterwards. But the completion of the goal is another critical phase, and it's quite a lot to do with worthiness. That's when the payday comes. That's when the final accolades come. That's when the acknowledgement comes. So it's really important to complete the goal, to do what you said you would do, and to celebrate it. So there we have it. So we're starting out into our year, and we have our goals. And as I've been talking to you, there would be certain resonances for you. Some things would have stood out. Some things you would have gone, uh-oh. Some of you would have gone, nah, that's not me. So what was alive for you in what I've just been talking about? So I'd love to hear from you. Robin, let's start with you.
Perfect. Choosing, initiating, maintaining, completing. Yeah, like I can identify with all that, and I think it's sometimes what comes up for me is allowing this or something better to come to and through.
Very nice. I love that. That's a really great mindset to have. That's brilliant. Thank you.
And on that allowing, I'm going to thank you and bid you farewell for now, and I will go. And beautiful connecting with you and being in this space with you, Jules, with you, Angela, with you, Samuel, with Kirsty, and with Virginia. So I thank you, and I will hold, as I leave, I'll hold beautiful space for the rest of this call, and I just look forward to hearing the recording as well.
Great. Thanks very much, Robin. Great to see you. All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. So, Samuel, what was alive for you in this?
The audience and who you're being and how they can pick up on that.
Mm.
And it kind of reminded me of when I was in high school. I was very comfortable speaking in front of the whole school. I had no issue with that, and it seemed like it flowed naturally.
Mm.
And then I don't know what it was, but over the years, I guess something happened. I didn't speak publicly, and then when I was put in front of a camera or an audience, I didn't have that anymore.
Wow.
So, and I think so I think it's something to do with that being.
Mm. Yeah. What do you think happened, Samuel? What happened in that interim period from high school to, you growing up?
I think it comes down to that confidence, because the other thing I notice is if I'm in a small group or one-on-one, my way, it's like a different way of being. Like that same way of being that I had on stage in high school, I have when I'm in a one-on-one scenario or in a small group scenario.
Mm.
But I think it's something to do around confidence, or something shifts when I get in front of a large group, or in front of a camera.
Mm.
And that's where I think it is. It's that being shifts, but exactly why I'm not sure.
Mm. Yeah, look, that's a really, 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 that's a really, really great point you brought to the table. One of the things that I coach people is that you're only ever speaking to one person. You're never speaking to 100. You're never speaking to, 1,000 people. There's only ever one person listening to you. So, if you think of when you go to an event and you're sitting in the audience, you're listening to that person on stage. It's only you. And so the same thing applies. And that when you really drop into that space of, I'm only talking to one person, it really shifts it. You can become intimate. The whole range of emotion and levels of excitement and interest really shift. It's like, when you're sitting down talking to a really good friend, the things you can talk about, and the way you talk about it, and your sense of humor, and we don't have to be coached to have a conversation. Well, most of us don't, and I don't think you do. So that's something that can be really, really useful. Is just know that you're only speaking to one person. So, Kirsty, how about you? How are you?
Who is you?
Oops. See if we can unmute Kirsty. Nope. Kirsty, feel free to join in whenever you can. Virginia, I don't know that I know you. Are you happy to speak, or would you prefer to stay quiet?
Me, Julian. But I'm happy to speak. Really happy to speak.
Oh, great.
You'd recognise me if you saw my face, but I'm travelling incognito today. I haven't been around you for a long, long time, but we met. Look, you'd recognise me. Put it that way. Okay. So listening, that lots of triggers. Certainly, choosing the goal is where I know lots of self-doubt comes in. So all of those things you're talking about with William Whitecloud about ego, etc., being very aware that ego drives goals frequently. So pulling back from setting goals and trying to listen more to what motivates me is really critical. So I'll often sit in that hiatus of indecision, just so can know that space way too well.
Yeah.
Once I'm clear about something, I know with any task, I understand the sort of the 4 phases of most tasks, and going into them, the initiation, understanding that maintenance can be really boring, and you break that down into micro projects or small goals and small wins. But what also triggered me very much when I just was jotting my notes was when you say about completion, and you shared about the worthiness, that was really when I looked at it and thought, what's my message? Is my message worthy of being spoken about? the worthiness of my message and being authentic, and does my word have any value?
Wow, Virginia, that's powerful. That's really powerful. And I think it's that edge, being on that edge, finding that edge, I think is so important for a speaker. And
Yeah.
being able to bring that into a presentation, I think is really, really powerful. There's I've started a Facebook page for speakers, and if you want to be invited onto that page, pop your name in the chat box to the side. And the reason I'm saying that is I found this fantastic edgy presentation online yesterday. It's only 6 minutes long, and I posted it on the page. And what you've just said really reminds me of that. This woman gives this incredible, short, pithy, and powerful presentation. And on the Facebook page, that's one of the things that I do is list and sort of pop a lot of things that really work for speakers and presenters and open up dialogue, and you can get to meet other speakers and presenters. So if that's something that you'd like to a group you'd like to be invited into, down the bottom of the page there is a icon that says chat. Click on that, and then you can type your name in there, and after this call I will make sure you are invited onto this onto that page.
Okay.
Right.
I'm a bit of a Luddite when it comes to Zoom, so if I get caught up, I'll send you an email.
Okay, Virginia, that's cool. No worries.
Okay,
no
all
worries.
right.
Brilliant.
Thanks.
Brilliant. Angela, what stood out for you in the in those four stages?
Let me see, the maintenance stage, because it's been 3 years since I've been working online and building my business online, and I know I'm somewhere, but I'm not, I don't feel like I'm anywhere.
Right. So that's a very interesting comment. Are you happy to open that up? Can I ask you something?
I am. The thing is that what helps me is, just creating new trainings, new programs, and that gets me motivated. Like last year, I created the masterclass series, Transform 1,011 People for my Feldenkrais practitioners, which was great. Someone's ringing. Is that me? No, it can't be.
Someone's phone is ringing. Oh, someone's phone's not ringing anymore. Yeah.
And and then now with the video challenge, it's giving me that boost of energy to put back into my business. And I know the middle of last year was a drag.
Morning.
Drag.
Morning, Bernard.
Oops, hang on, I'll just mute Brian, I think. There we go. Right, so you said you said something about you feel like you should be somewhere other than where you are?
Yes.
Who says so?
I know. When you look at all the information out there, you can't compare yourself to anyone else's journey.
So who says you should be somewhere other than where you already are?
I just wish I'd had more income.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's fair enough. And this year, what will you do about that?
Well, what I'm really coming to is, okay, well, how can I support people? How can I be of more value? And how can I make a bigger impact with the people that are already in my circle? How can I support them make a bigger impact?
And what answers have you come up with in relation to that?
Well, I keep asking them, what do they need? What do they want to learn? So in my group and in my on my email list, always sending out polls and then creating content that they've asked.
And how does that help you make more money?
Well, them seeing my value, seeing what the expertise that I know, then that draws them closer. That builds the know-like trust.
Okay, so
therefore, hopefully, more sign-ups.
So really what your aim is more sign-ups and more cash flowing. Yeah. So I think it's really important that we name what it is that we're doing, and if it's an intention to make more money, it needs to be really clearly stated. And then you really need to sit down and kind of, again, tuning in. What is it that you're looking to do? What are the financial kind of aims and goals for this year? And then what are the actions that are required in relationship to that? And I guess because we're talking, this is a call around speakers, how does speaking, how will speaking create more money for you?
Getting clearer on what I'm offering through my speaking. I do want to do more local public speaking to build my local classes.
I was so some of you know I was recently in Tasmania as part of the Future Fest, which was a gathering of around 1,500 entrepreneurs in Tasmania. And there was a whole range of activities that I was involved in, and quite a lot of speaking, running workshops, and there were these pitch fests. The University of Hobart ran this series of pitch fests, which involved groups of people standing up and talking about their businesses. And speaking is a really powerful way of, well, let's be bold and straight up about making money. Because how you speak about your business, what you offer, who you are offering it to, you've got to have crystal clear clarity around that. Our business lives and dies here, lives and dies on the tip of our tongue. And how well and compellingly you can speak about what it is you do, what it is you offer, and the value that you bring. Because I know you, Ange, and I work with you. And I'm very careful about who I choose to work with, because the future of my business is very much in your hands. You are fantastic to work with. You do stuff when you work with people, especially in the online area, that lots of people don't do. You understand the Luddite in me, and you understand how difficult it is for me to come to terms with this whole technological world, and you step me through it, and it makes a big difference to me, and it is making a big difference to my confidence and also to my business. So you have a lot of value under the surface that I think this year needs to come to the surface, and for you to speak about it and to communicate that, because it's not about the courses you offer. It's how you offer it, and it's the context. And that's one of the things that's really critical about speaking, is it's not your content, it's your context. So Samuel, to come back to where we started around the state of being, the space that we open up when we stand in front of an audience is a really critical, fundamental piece, and it really comes down to, in terms of speaking, what's our intention? When you open your mouth, what is it that you want an audience to feel? What is it that you want an audience to know? And what is it that you want an audience to do as a result of listening to you? That, to me, is probably the most powerful thing to know about speaking, is your intention. What do you want an audience to feel? What do you want them to know? And what do you want them to do as a result of listening to you? Right. So, as I said at the beginning of the call, I was going to talk about what is it? What's the, as a coach, what do I observe as the number one kind of goal killer? It's inaction. It's not following through. And it's really inaction of a very particular type, because the other side of it is, the other side of the coin is, on one side you've got inaction and procrastination. On the other side you've got busyness. A lot of people, a lot of us, me included at times, get busy getting nowhere. And it's this illusion that busyness will deliver a result, when in our heart of hearts we know we're just busy being busy. So what I see is, it's the number one thing around really following through and creating our goals, is the process of tuning in, is listening to the inner genius. It's your intuition. It's that guiding voice within you that's beyond your personality. It's like, it's a deeper place. And then taking action aligned with that. The people who I know and the people who I coach, the ones who go on to achieve their goals, that's simply all they're doing. They're listening to their highest calling, and they take action aligned with that. Now, as simple as that sounds, that takes an immense amount of courage. And some of the antidotes and some of the things that help that, one is, that's why I set up mastermind groups, and that's why I set up peer groups, because being in a community of people who you've shared your vision with, you've shared your kind of deeper intent with, and who can hold you and in that place and reflect that greatness back to you, that's strong medicine. That's really, really, really strong medicine. And it's really important, especially when we're following our heart's desire. And it can quite often, our friends and our peers will kind of go, why do you want to do that? Or, you've never done anything like that before. That's never going to work. Why is that going to work? And if our friends aren't saying that, you can be pretty sure that there's a tape going on in here that says that. So I think being part of a mastermind group, being part of a peer group, is a really powerful way of dealing with that new voice, and also a really powerful way of supporting transition through to a deep goal that's really, really calling you. So once again, I'd kind of like to open it back out to Virginia and Sam. What's alive for you in this conversation? What's there for you, Sam? Whoops, hang on, you're on mute. Whoops. Hello, Sam. Virginia, can we go to you?
Okay.
Thanks.
Spending time with myself to explore my inner world and that inner truth, to go beyond ego.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. I love that.
There's no point moving forward on a journey if you don't know where you're going.
Yes, yeah. Oh, there's a lot of wisdom in that comment, Virginia. Yeah. I love it. Samuel, I'm going to unmute you. There we go. Away you go. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, can hear.
Okay. What I've noticed is very much like what you're saying, when you're doing goals that are very much aligned with who you are at the core, like what your true purpose and passion is, it seems to just happen naturally, and who you're being shifts.
Beautiful.
And you tend to pull this team towards you, and then things happen effortlessly when you're in that zone. And you've kind of brought my attention back to that.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Oh, my work here is done, Samuel. That's all. That's all I wanted to do. I'm so glad that's what you heard. I'm so glad, because you're so right. It is a zone, you know. And a dear friend of mine, Jason Snadden, and what he talks about is frequency, that our goals or our desires have a particular frequency, and that when we continue to stay in that zone, when we continue to stay connected to that frequency, if you like, yeah, you're right, all manner of things become magnetized. Like you say, the team turns up, the opportunities turn up, and quite effortlessly. So you're right. I think a really good barometer for being on track is quite often the effortless way that results are created.
Mm.
Brilliant, brilliant. Geronimo, you joined the call quite late. I'd love to connect with you. What's alive for you out of the conversation that you have heard?
Good question. Look, I just really need to take some action, and I think my little issue is that I'm not 100% sure of the direction to take. You know, I've got a niche all worked out, etc. But for me, it's really starting the journey, because
Yes.
I'm going back to what I used to do, but with fresh perspective and way, and that's tying in my natural health background with speaking and coaching. You know, for business women who are struggling with their careers and their health and their lives, and I want to take them and put them back onto the ladder again. So getting back out there and getting clients, that's the big block for me at the moment. I've worked an awful lot on my mindset and moving forward. I know I can do this. I do have a calling to do it. It's just getting out there and doing it.
Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Brilliant. Well, I would highly recommend you connect with Angela. She's absolutely genius at getting people connected via online and social media. And I invited you on board because I think one of the things that's really important for speakers is visibility. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Yes, visibility, because if you don't show up, how are people going to know you're there? So, but it's not just showing up, it's when you're speaking, you need what you're saying to land on the people listening. So there's a way to craft your content, your social media content that draws those people closer to you in the way you say it, the way you show up. Scripts for live videos, for pre-recorded edited videos, and also just posts.
So I invited Angela to be on the call because Angela is working with me, and also it's her work is something that I want to bring into the Shine/New Human community. Angela, can you pop down your Facebook page so people, if they want, can come and join the conversation with you? Angela gives a tremendous amount of content and insight, and really demystifies the whole, internet, online, social media space. I'm really enjoying working with Ange. So if you could, there you go. So if anyone, if you just, before the end of the call, click on that link that she's just popped in there. And those of you who are watching the recording, will pop that link down below. So you've all got access to that. I really highly recommend working with Angela around raising visibility. So our call, yes.
I'll also put the link to the video challenge that's happening next week.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Great idea.
Sign up to that as well.
Great. Excellent idea. So, where to from here? I just think it's really important, as Virginia said, just to take some quiet time to really feel into and make those choices. And as Samuel said, the choices that are really aligned with that deeper sense of purpose, I think is really, really important. And then to put in simple action steps around that. So what I would like to mention, I mentioned to you the Facebook page, and those of you who would like to be joined into the speaker's Facebook page. It's just a really simple way of staying connected, and I put lots of content up there around speaking and presenting, etc. And it's a great way for you to meet other people in that community too. If you want to, pop your name in the chat box. Virginia's going to email me. Samuel, I'll make sure that I invite you onto that. The other thing that I'm doing, starting in the 3rd week of January, I'm going to be starting a 6-session mastermind group for speakers. So we're really going to be, looking at, what is your message? What is your higher purpose around speaking? Getting clear on what that is. Getting clear on your content. What are the stories that are impactful? Who is your audience? Who are you here to really speak to? And what are you really here to speak to them about? It's a very practical course. You'll have a buddy who you'll partner up with. There'll be homework to be done. It's a really, and you did the last one. What was your experience? What value did you get from it?
Well, it wasn't the course that I thought I was signing up for. And here's why.
Yeah.
I thought I was signing up to get exactly, here's what you do, here's your script, off you go. But no, we do the deeper inner work of really understanding our presence and speaking from that place inside, that one person, like you were saying. We're only ever talking to one person in the audience, so it's lovely.
Great.
I got more than what I thought I was getting.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's a really important point. I don't do cookie cutter. I don't do template. What I'm really listening for is your unique voice. Who are you? What's unique about you? What's compelling about you? What's powerful about you? What are the stories that are your stories that will have you be unforgettable? So it's very much about finding your authentic voice and finding your style, so that that's unique and really resonates. So if you are interested in that and would like some more info, I can send you some on that. Please, once again, pop your name in the chat box if that's something that interests you. And what I also offer, and you might find this useful, is I also offer a complimentary one-on-one conversation. And if you go to the www.shineglobal.com.au website, I'll pop that in the chat box. .com.au. Boom. If you go to that website, you can book a complimentary conversation with me, and we can kind of dive down deeply to what it is you're looking for, where it is you want to go. So, are there any final words from any of you? What's the? I'd really love to hear what it was that was useful for you out of attending today's conversation. So, just invite you just to take a nice deep breath in.
Guys, I'm going to have to jump off because I've got another call that starts right now.
Okay.
But it was great meeting you all, and thanks very much for this session, Julian.
My great pleasure, Sam. I'll see you on the Facebook page. All the very best.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
All the best, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
So, for those of us who are on the call, what was it that really stood out for you? What is important for you to focus on as you move forward? Angela.
Just keep going with my goals.
I would say make money, Ange.
Yeah.
I would say that's your focus.
Yes.
Get really sharp, get really shiny, and with a clear intent that there needs to be commercial transactions. Cool. Right. Virginia,
Taking time for self.
Oh, beautiful. 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 Yeah, that fully resonates. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Everything else falls into place when you got that sorted, eh?
Yeah.
Brilliant. 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 Thank you, Virginia. And Geronimo.
Look, given I came in late to it, I think for me it's taking action. I just have to
Oh, yeah.
take action and get out there.
Yes, 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 yes. And I would add inspired action, really listening to your heart, really listening to what it is that's calling you, and to take that action. Avoid being busy for busy's sake.
Yeah, no, that's
Brilliant. Fantastic.
Mhm.
Okay, so I would like to thank you very, very much for being part of this call. I wish you a really successful and magnificent 2019. I hope to see you more this year. We're going to be offering a lot more of these conversations through the year, where we can have the opportunity to come together, talk, chat, digest, and really support one another in making great stuff happen. So thank you all very, very much, and have a great 2019.